Well, good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. I'm doing a little uh, second thoughts on Children of the, what was it, Blood and Bones by Tamea Adeyemi that I spoke about just in the previous video. My book club met last night, and there were thoughts that were perhaps, I think, perhaps worth sharing. And I think the first one I should share is that one of the people in the book club works with a lot of teens. They love this book. And so, in the spirit of the fact that this is YA literature, one should read it with a YA brain, which means certain kinds of quibbles around, um, I don't know, like as an experienced reader, sometimes those notions about plot formation or structure or character development and so on should I should set them aside. I have a trouble doing that. I tend to read an area of this area of literature which I really enjoy, but as an adult, and I forget that I should put myself in my 17, 18-year-old brain, which was probably just as shallow and inattentive as it currently is, but just with less experience. So we have readers in the book club who are very, very thoughtful, and I think one of those people's brought forward the notion of the themes that this book is covering, and she's totally right, absolutely 100% right. And the issue is that oh, and someone else went to the trouble of finding out what the author's intentions were, which is also, well, that's something I would never have done as a teenager. I would never have been in the least bit interested in what the author had to say as a human. So, again, we've got someone who's just a little more probing than I am and has gone to find out what the author's intentions were. And one of the big things she was trying to get across was the rage of oppressed peoples. And this book is taking place with primarily, well, I would say entirely people of color, though it's never, wide range of skin tones, which is super nice. But what she's done is given the Magi white hair, which is a great way to other them. You have got other superficial features that don't necessarily classify you as to geography or tribe or so on, but the hair definitely marks you as Magi, which is one of the things that makes you the least of the least. And so she's expressing through the character. Oh my God, it's too early in the morning. Zaylee. Um, she is just filled with rage, trauma, oppression, confusion, and also she's being chased by the prince, Ayani, who I'm not going to call them by their real names because it's gone right out of my brain. Anyway, she's being chased by the prince who's determined to kill her, and because he becomes sort of a dream walker through his encounters with magic that he is completely in denial about, they start to have this sort of cosmic exchange of knowledge of each other, and it opens their eyes to each other. And one of the readers was, I can't stand that insta love, and for her that was like a big X in the book. Um, I didn't see it necessarily as insta love. I think that we're kind of set up that the two will be definitely, in some kind of a strong relationship with each other. But whether it's going to be love or hate or the ambivalent all the way through is not clear until fairly far into the book. Or in fact, I would say that by the end of the book, ambivalence reigns. So the other point that was made was around class and around oppression itself and the power. Then the idea that magic could be used for both good and bad, but that good could be extremely good, almost to the point of harm, and then bad could be extremely bad, certainly to the extent of bad, but there might be something good coming out of it. So there's also a lot of ambivalence in the characters' brains as to, how does magic get applied and who benefits, who doesn't benefit. So sort of all the kind of underlying questions around power. Who holds the power? What do you do with the power? So yes, the themes of this book were absolutely excellent. And so my issues in the previous video were not meant to detract from those points. I think that that was absolutely true. And, I just tend to come in, read a book, be somewhat flippant, somewhat lackadaisical. And to me, it's kind of on the entertainment scheme, and it's all about me. So I don't necessarily think about the bigger picture. So that's why I had a bit of a rant there. And trying to find my notes as to what. Here we go. Okay. One of the main concerns that people had with Zélie was that she just didn't seem to learn from her mistakes. Everybody found her as a character quite frustrating, although they recognized that we were seeing her internal thinking, in my opinion, too much. She was too reflective, especially, but that's another point. And that it just took her forever to get to grips with the things that she'd done as mistakes and not taking people's advice, especially her brother Zane. And we all agreed that Zane was the poor schlep who just had to clean up her messes over and over again. And we all agreed that he deserved his own point of view. And let me see. I think everybody agreed that the comment was made that perhaps I didn't enjoy this book as much because it was audio. And because that was 15 hours of chair time for me, or, doing it while I was trying to do chores. But then I'd have to put the volume up quite high, which means that every time the reader was shouting, because that was called for, and it was like someone was in the kitchen with me or in the bedroom shouting. And so I think that perhaps the audio experience detracted more from the book than the book deserved. Now, again, that reader is terrific. I've got her name somewhere. Where did, no, I do have it. It's just not on the page I'm looking at. So, where did it go? Bonnie Turpin. Excellent reader. So if you look up her name, as I said, she's got a whole lot of books that she has read for. So she's terrific. So everybody who read it in hard copy loved it. They said it was a very fast read, 500 pages. They were through it lickety-split. And so it was a very, very readable book. So I don't exactly step aside from the things that I said in the previous video, but I think I stand somewhat corrected or somewhat reminded. And it's always good to have other people come in and give you some kind of discussion on books that you are feeling challenged with. And one of the things I've often said is that if a book irritates you that much, there are definitely parts of it that are quite good. I mean, the author has to have really created a character. And in this case, it was a structure problem for me. But one of her characters really rubbed the wrong way, and so that makes it a great character. So again, I have to say that I stand somewhat corrected and somewhat reminded that this is a better book than I gave it credit for. And so my ranking isn't going to come up too high, but there are a lot of people who really, really gave it a lot higher, review than I did. So that's it for me today. Just a little outburst, or not really. It's not really an outburst, but just an opportunity to reflect on a book and give you some different perspective from more thoughtful readers than me. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.